weird-looking puppets that look oddly like our friends. But once we finished packing up and we got going, we went through the desert. The desert was fucking hot, and a few of us caught a bit of exhaustion from walking in the super hot sun. After quite a while, we eventually made our way. Oh, wait, there was a sandstorm. We tried tying down a tarp to protect us from the storm, but unfortunately, everybody rolled not very well, and two of the points where it was tied flung open and making us take the brunt of the sandstorm. Uh, yeah, we managed to survive it while taking a bit of damage, but we then did get on the roll again. We eventually managed to get to the rocky area where we could actually set the trap. Once we got there, we did set the trap, and it went pretty well from there. The kobold started hammering the giant iron ring. I think it's iron or metal ring. That was used to capture the worm. After a while, we did see it coming. I think my character saw it first, and as it launched through the iron ring and got itself stuck, and a nice big battle ensued where we managed to slay the worm. I believe that is where we ended off.
Oh, yes, it was a fairly straightforward session. A little bit of trying to survive the harsh elements of the desert, as well as totally and utterly destroying a sandworm which was hyped way too much. And yes, as of right now, you are all back on the cart, busy traveling across the desert. If for those who know their bearings around, they would know that they are heading back to the city. But for others who aren't really that savvy with directions and keeping aware of their surroundings, what you could see is just plain desert as the wind is slowly picking up. It kind of sends a sort of fear that another storm will catch you by surprise. And so I'm going to ask who's going to keep watch for the first leg of the journey?
I guess Nira and Wolf. If anybody else wants to.
And
Go
Neron,
for it.
if you'd be so kind, roll us perception.
Sure thing. 25.
God damn. Lucky for you, or for you guys, yes, the wind has picked up, but it's not you feel as it's not a red herring or a guarantee that there would be a storm. It's just the usual weather changing from time to time. And for you don't really notice much else in the desert, as again, it's just a vast land of sand. Some of it is annoying and you'd have to, like, every now and then scrape out of you. You don't notice anything that catches you off guard. And so I'll say for the rest of the journey, it's fairly uneventful and it's not that long. By the time that you finish your watch, the sun is already coming down on the horizon. And you can all see that very, very quickly the sun is appearing. Night is falling upon you. He, being his savvy self, asks you guys if you would want to continue during the night or if you'd want to stop.
Hmm. Uh, That would very much depend based on our previous experience with resting up in the desert. We were quickly traced down and uh, promptly ambushed. So, unless there are other dangers that we must be aware of that strike in the night in the desert, apart from assassins sent for me and my sister, then I would suggest we keep on moving.
All right. Any objections?
Oh, most things in the desert are cold-blooded, right? So they'll be less active at night. So I'm all for traveling at night.
Very well. And so he just sort of whips the harness that he has attached to the beetle, and the beetle increases. Most of you feel the weight of today's battle, even though it was fairly quick, it was still pretty tiring, as all your strikes had to be precise, 100% of your strength, in order to actually harm the beast. And so it's only now that you realize how tiring that battle was, as most of you feel the sort of exhaustion take hold. He does offer to stand watch for the stay on watch first. He would like some help. So who of you will stay watch for the first leg of the night?
I think I will. Can you?
All right. And just so I know for future who's going to take the next, there's going to be 3 watches. So who's going to take the next 2?
How long are each? How long is each watch?
So the sun has set pretty early, roughly at like 7 p.m., where it's completely set, and it would rise at 6 a.m. So I'm thinking between a 4 to 5 hour watch each.
Okay.
Hmm.
I can probably do second watch then, because I can I'll be able to get a long rest through the first watch because I'm an elf with trance.
And who shall take the final watch?
Yuna can attempt to keep watch. I gotta restart my Roll20 though, real quick.
Alright. Alright. So as the night falls, and most of you make do with what you can in the cart as you try and find a comfortable position. It's a pretty smooth cart, as it's not on wheels, it's on sort of sleds. So it's not a bumpy ride. You just every time you go over a dune and down it sort of feels like a very delayed trip on the sea, just a small rocking motion that is barely noticeable. And majority of you are able to find pretty comfortable spots. As Yanni, you now begin your first watch with T, so I am going to ask you to make perception. Oof. Alright, with an 8, Yanni, I'm going. You don't have dark vision, right?
Yeah, I do.
Ah, you do. Hmm. I'm gonna say for your watch, it was very uneventful. You would look out into the vast emptiness of the desert and you wouldn't see much. You would see the occasional small little insect running across the sand or a snake slithering away. Other than that, you don't see anything that could be life-threatening or potentially dangerous.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, is there anything you would like to do before passing on your watch?
Hmm. Think he would be uh, during his watch. He would be tinkering with a couple of the pieces that were left behind by the dolls that we destroyed during our previous night, as well as setting up an alarm perimeter around our camp. It's like taking the time to ritually cast alarm around the camp.
Around the cart, because you guys are
Yep.
still moving.
Yeah. Oh, we're still moving.
Yeah.
Could this be done like on the like edges of the cart, more or less, so that we know that nothing like jumps up without us noticing it?
Well, do remember you still have your Dole of Warning.
That's fair.
Yeah, so if something were to
Yeah.
jump up, you would be the first to know.
Never mind.
So
I guess I'm tweaking. I guess I'm tweaking my spell sheet more before I pass my watch.
so your watch goes uneventful. Eventually, the exhaustion gets too much. You have to pass on your watch to Ninarin as you gently wake him up.
Time ready.
Yes, sadly.
Aaron gets up, cracks his neck a bit, goes to the back of the car to be in, well, I guess the front. Um, yeah, gets up front with the kobold. I'm assuming the kobold is still awake right now.
Yes, you honestly, because you're sitting right next to the dude, you can see that he is struggling a bit to stay awake. Like his head would slowly move down and just bob up all of a sudden down and bob. It's he's doing his best.
Yeah. Do you want to go get some rest? I can probably figure out how to keep this thing going forward.
You sure?
Oh, I'll give it a good shot. Don't see it can't be that difficult, right?
Well, you elves, you always know what you're doing. As he hands you the harness and just goes to sleep right there. Head just falls back and it's just big deep snore from a small dude.
Yeah, Scarla crawls up, sits his head onto Naran's lap. Well, it's just us two then. Do you need me to roll skill check anything to make sure the cart keeps going forward?
I am going to ask you to make me an animal handling check because
I'm
this
gonna.
is a giant beetle.
Awesome. I am luckily one of those people that have proficiency in animal handling, so unless this is a shitty roll, I'm asking for a shitty roll right now. Okay, no, decent roll.
Okay, that is fairly decent. It it takes you quite a bit, like a bit to figure out how sort of resilient or resistant the beetle is to command, as you would kind of like slightly turn to one side, but the beetle would have a delayed response, like a few seconds. And it just takes time for you to get used to, but eventually you get the feel of it, and the beetle responds pretty well to you after, I'd say, about an hour of trying to steer it around. But you don't steer too much off, of course.
Alright.
And as per usual, I would like a perception check. That
Sure
was quick.
thing.
14.
Since I'm busy figuring out how to keep the crustacean moving forward.
For you, majority of your watch is pretty uneventful, although your focus is mainly on the beetle, as it's a sort of new and exciting experience. not many people are able to actually use one of these things, as they're not that common, but it's a new experience, and every now and then you would hear a sort of like hoot and a screech, as it's you get the feeling it's the nocturnal birds or nocturnal owls that are coming out at night. Maybe Cola's paw, long distance cousins coming out at night and hunting for prey.
Hmm.
And just like during the day, there would be this one instance where you looked out and you saw a dune, looked away, looked back, and the dune had moved. With your experience, you know that that is a sandworm. So you keep like partial awareness of where it is, making sure that it doesn't come closer to you, which thankfully it does not. And pretty soon you find that the time goes by, as you didn't realize it, but controlling this beast is kind of fun. And you know what they say, when you're having fun, time flies.
Hmm.
So before you know it, your sort of watch has come to its end. And again, with your yes, with your race, you do already have a long rest, but the sort of mentality that it's still night and people still sleep kind
Hmm.
of hits you. I should be sleeping now, but I'm not
Yeah.
tired.
Well, feeling the tiredness coming over me, I'll go over to the next person that's on watch. Give them a small little nudge.
Right? You temporarily stop the beetle and give Yuna a small nudge.
It's your turn.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Yeah, quickly show her how to get the beetle moving again.
Alright, I'll say Yuna, because he's showing you, you can roll animal handling with advantage. Okay.
Great success.
Hmm?
Don't worry.
For you, it takes much longer than expected, like 3 hours or so, to finally get a good grip on how this beast works. And it's a sort of like a scary moment at first, like, this thing could crush me if I just do something wrong. But eventually, after a long while, you do get the beetle to be moving at the steady pace. But during the time that you were struggling, it would kind of stop, start, turn to one side, turn to the other, and you'd constantly be correcting mistakes. But yeah, after a while, you do get the hang of it. Eventually, the beast obeys your every command. And with that, I am going to ask that you make me I know, perception. Well, the game night, not tonight. Oh, 19. Alright, for you, you're much more aware, like more awake, because the beetle kind of forced that sort of focus out of you. As if you had to lose focus for a second, sort of lose control over. So you were able to notice a lot more happening in your general surroundings. One, you actually saw a hawk kind of snatch up a snake about 10 feet away from you, and it was a pretty cool thing. It's like, oh, damn. You saw the familiar dunes moving off into the distance. And you also heard a very weird howl slash roar. It wasn't a proper wolf howl, nor was it a like roar of a lion. It was a mixture of the two. But it was a very faint one. You could tell that whatever was making the sound was quite a bit away, like pretty far away, but just this sheer no, let me rephrase these words. The fact that this entity is extremely far away and you could still hear the roar just sort of intimidates you a bit, makes you wonder what kind of beast owns that sort of, I'm gonna say, power. But luckily for you, tonight was not the night where any monsters or sandworms would come and attack your prize. Tonight was a fairly calm and uneventful night. And before you know it, in the horizon, you could see the sun starting to rise, starting to give glow to the sand, which kind of makes the desert have a sort of gold texture to it. And it's a pretty magnificent sight. Been struggling with the word, Jesus. Pretty magnificent sight to behold, as the desert literally looked like a plate of gold right now. Specks of gold fly past you, carried by the wind. But the interesting thing is that it only lasted for half an hour. Sun rose more, the gold started to get more faint, and the yellow peach color of the sand started to come back. And now it's the morning, you all wake up feeling pretty hungry. As you are all still moving.
Oh, morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I hope you all slept well.
Well, those that could sleep.
Would have been better without the stop and go, but you know, it's fine.
It is what it is. How much longer do we have until we reach our destination, Sir Kobold?
As you ask him, he just like jerks awake, like, oh fuck.
Yeah, Neuron gives him a little kick in the side.
Like, don't fucking kick me. Kick me back.
Yeah, sure.
He like rubs your eye. He rubs his eyes and just looks at you. Like, I'm sorry. What?
I was inquiring as to how much longer until we reach the city.
It takes him a moment to process that question as he just like stares at you, then looks out into the horizon.
You are the expert on the desert, aren't you?
Yeah. Just give me a moment, jeez.
Right. Take your time.
Like, just opens his mouth. Start to notice that he's like starts looking around more so, like just from one side to the other. He even licks his finger and puts it up to the air.
Please do not tell me that we are lost.
Did you guys travel in a straight line last night?
Yeah, and he like tilts his head in the direction of Nero and his sister.
Oh, we didn't exactly have a compass, did we? I'm pretty sure I did.
Eunice's not gonna say anything, but she is going to shove the reins back into the kobold's hands now that he's awake. Kind of like look away, like it wasn't me.
He just slowly brings the car to a stop as he now gets fully on top of the like sort of beetle. As the beetle is larger than the cart, so he gets on top to try and get a higher vantage point. Just looking up. You know what? I think one of you guys may have fucked us over.
Great. Well, how far are we now from the city?
See, he kind of like opens up a pouch and actually pulls out a compass. We're about 4 hours.
Yeah, that's manageable.
No, it's not so bad.
I hope so. I mean, I could be wrong. We are in the middle of the desert.
How high up is the sun right now? Is it like just coming up? Is there still a few stars hanging around? Or is it,
Yeah, so on the one side you would see the sun, as the sun is like now fully, you could now fully see the sun, and on the other side the brightest stars that are shining, still shining. So it's fairly early in the morning.
Yeah. Can everyone try with the few remaining stars? Try figure out the right direction to go, if at all. He's a ranger after all. He knows how to navigate.
That is a make me a survival check.
Dang. 16, not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Glad your modifier is there. So you look to the other side of the sun, you see the final remaining stars. It's not much, but you could tell that this is like the last bit of a star configuration which you would know at this time.
Constellation.
It's sorry. Wait, what?
Constellation.
Constellation. Ah, bloody hell. Anyways. So you look out there, you see the star Constellation, and you can tell that from there those stars are sitting or up to you. Actually, no, let me rephrase this. I'm not prepared for that. Yeah, okay. Actually, let me do this. I'm gonna pull up my world map so I know the general direction of where you guys. Ah. Okay, yeah. Those stars, you know, are sitting more to the southeast part of the world, you would say, and you know that the city is directly opposite those stars. So you know that in order for you guys to get back to the city, you need to head northwest.
The same direction the kobold was saying?
No, the kobold was saying that you guys should head west.
Yeah, when Duran takes a couple minutes to check this out, while the kobold is probably saying, "Yeah, we definitely have to go this way." I don't think so. I think that star over there, with that one over there, with the sun over there. I think we have to head this direction. And
Do you doubt my navigational skills?
Who knows? Maybe you chose the wrong direction in the first place.
So you do doubt my navigational skill?
Yes.
Dickhead. Alright.
Someone that's very well acclimated to the desert, you're not the best guide, I'm not gonna lie. Just gonna put that out there.
You know what? That hurts. But we're gonna follow your directions, and if you're wrong, then it's a win for me, as well as a loss. But if you're right, then it's still a loss. Shit.
Sounds like you're in a lose-lose situation then.
Indeed, it does. And so you guys start heading off northwest.
I hope the DC was 15, not 20. Please, Mr. DM, be merciful.
So you start heading northwest. 2 hours later, the sun is rising up high and the heat is building up. Yes, the desert is not a nice place, and I am going to ask for everyone to roll me a constitution to see if you survive the early morning sun. Hey, Cola, you're doing better this time.
Can we just get some water from Colo's water bottle thing that creates all the water?
If you do, then I would say roll with that one.
Pretty much, it is pretty much infinite water, so.
It is. So I would say roll with that one. Because, I mean, yeah, you could pour water on yourself, but you still get, like, damage. Your skin gets damaged from the sun. Yes. Sunburn is a hazard. Oh, yeah. You know, you don't need your construct.
Wood doesn't get sunburned.
Of course it. Alright.
I recommend you guys also use the infinite water source.
They don't need to. They've.
Oh yeah,
Look at.
I just realized, yeah, it's 22 and 17.
Yeah, they don't need. Okay, with Cola's infinite water source, you're all pretty much suited to survive in the desert. We're doing better than anyone else. In a, after that, no, in a matter of 2 more hours, you start seeing the city walls approaching. As T is like silently grumbling to himself. Guy, showing me up my own home. And you guys have made it back to the city of John. Need to. Once you guys get to the city walls, T doesn't stop as the doors automatically open up. His status showing some more as he just heads straight for the barracks where you would get your bounty. A similar thing happens when you pass the people in the streets. They sort of look at you and admire. Those who saw you before thought that you weren't going to make it back, and now they're like, oh shit, they're actually back. Start hearing a bit of a murmur. Some people do whisper your name, the myth fits. After 30 more minutes, you're able to get back to the barracks. Jeff, your friendly bounty, handler is sitting there waiting as he looks up at you guys with surprise. Like, "Oh, you guys made it back!"
And quite successful as well.
His eyes just go wide. Wait, you guys actually killed it?
How could you
Did you
doubt
down
that
it?
the How could you doubt that the great cola would feel such a lowly worm? I've had harder things, picking my own feathers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting you guys to be back so soon. What? The, wow. Okay, I'm gonna call the chief. Yeah, and he just runs off back into the building.
Don't worry about food.
He just looks at you. He's like, "What? You know, there's
Um,
rations in the back there, right?"
Well, let's just say that the worm wasn't left to the proverbial wolves.
Yeah, but you're complaining about food.
Yeah, don't bring any because this guy ate it all. Well, almost all. I'm just kind of pushing Cola to the front.
Cola, are you still inflated? Are you still
Yeah.
a round ball?
Really?
Alright, you just roll Cola off the cart. Just slightly acts like a bouncing ball. He hits the ground. Doing, doing. And after a few minutes of waiting, the chief finally gets back. But he doesn't talk to you guys first. He first addresses Sandrider T. He has a small conversation. You guys are pretty close, so I'm not gonna say you need a perception check. I mean, you're able to overhear the conversation. And it's mainly just T describing what happened. He mentioned the dolls to the captain, but Captain shrugs that off, and he also mentions how pretty quickly you guys were able to dispose of the worm. And of course, the captain had his worries, asking if it was the right way. T did reassure him that he did open the worm up and evidence of his fellow rider that was he. And after about 10 minutes of the two just talking to each other, eventually the captain actually looks at you guys. Well, I can't thank you guys enough. You've done us a very great service.
Well, it was definitely easier than what it was hyped up to be.
I understand that, but matter of the fact is you were able to take care of a dangerous beast out in the desert and were able to save some lives. City thanks you. If there is anything I can do for you guys, please tell me, and I'll do what I can in my power to make it happen.
Hmm. Well, I believe the mention of a reward for this wasn't discussed previously. I would be very interested to see what we are to be rewarded with, apart from the obvious fame and glory that we will get for doing such a great service and hunting such a great beast.
Well, that is true. We didn't discuss terms of reward. So, if you like, we can negotiate that now. And T here can give us his opinion on the value of this worm and the danger that you guys were put in. If what he looks at T, he's like, how much would you say that that worm was in gold?
I give him a bit of stink eye.
What? A bit of?
Bit of a stink eye for because I bested him in the desert by navigating. I just give him a look. It's like, I swear, if you make the sound easier than it was, type of thing. To make sure he doesn't make it sound so easy, it wouldn't affect us.
He just looks at you, slowly starting to like build a sort of rivalry hatred. Just don't look at me like. But he takes a moment and eventually he says, yeah, with a worm that size, it would be. I would say the reward should be close to 300 gold pieces. And of course, the captain kind of swallows his surprise. We can we can do 300 gold pieces. However, I am open to other forms of reward if possible.
Could I roll like an insight to check if it's like a big amount for his funds or if it's like a low ball that he didn't expect from the kobold?
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
You go ahead, roll me inside.
Nope.
Hey.
It's like, oh yeah, that's 300 gold. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yo, to you guys, it's like 300 gold. Yo, the thing was easy. I mean, I would have expected a lot. Like I wouldn't expect it. But other than that, you examine the captain, and it's pretty hard to get a read on him. Yes, even though he swallowed it, you could just assume that to him that is a pretty big reward.
A bit of an out of character talk. How expensive would a bag of holding be? I think it's like between 100 and 500, depending on what type of deal you get, right?
All
Kind of
right.
how the uncommon ones cost. Uh, hmm.
Uh, the very first I am looking this up. The very first place that I've seen says that a Type 1 bag of holding
That is
2,500.
That's 3.5 edition, not 5 edition.
Ah, aha. I need. Good.
Found the exact same website.
Yeah.
um,
You know what? I'm gonna go
Yeah,
to
it is.
D&D Beyond.
cost. What does it cost a bag of holding?
Uh,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think it's like prices ranges that were determined in Xanathars for like the different rarities. So like there's not a set price for each magical item.
hmm.
And I think if memory serves, it was between 100 and 500, but I'll just check
Yeah.
just in case.
snippet's been posted in main chat.
Yeah, so 100 to 500 gold pieces range.
Mhm.
Alright.
So the
Uh,
300 would be like right in the middle of that, more or less.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I would say with 300 you are able to get it back.
now that would free up some space for one more infusion for Yanni. So like we do have a bag of holding at the moment, but it's taking up one of the infusions, one of the artificer infusions. So if you could get one, that would be beneficial.
Very smart.
Well, if coinage is a bit short for the army, could you perhaps supply us with a portable some sort of means of transporting supplies around an extra dimensional space in the form of a bag, preferably.
That I have heard of such items. We don't have any here, but there is a place I can redirect you that could help you with that.
Well, with your promise that the funds for such an item will be supplied by the garrison, I think we would be more than happy to bargain and at least reduce the gold that you need to get out of your coffers.
Hmm.
It is a show of good faith in the hope that we will get access to some more, how can we say, more VIP quests of sorts. Some that are not available to the general populace. Maybe something that pays a bit more, or that might uh, rank us a bit higher in the eyes of the city and of the royal family.
Hmm. There is on the topic of hush hush quest. There is one that I could offer you now, but I'm pretty sure you would like to do a few things in the city before taking this quest on. So, how about I redirect you to the place where you could get the magical item you have just described? Help you get the said item and allow you to do what you want in the city before giving you your next.
Of course. Is it a time sensitive matter?
It is, but we're not pressed for time.
He like turns around to the rest of the party. Should we give an estimate as to how much time we would need to resupply and arrange our business within the city before we return here?
How's about 24 hours? That should give us plenty of time to rest, recuperate, resupply.
Well, Mighty Cola, I believe that one of our main concerns would be the speed by which you are processing your hearty meal from earlier. Think 24 hours shall be enough for you to digest the situation.
Surely is possible.
Nonetheless. Well, me and my sister are always ready and eager, so 24 hours is the time frame that we can all decide for, I believe, Captain, we will be back by this time tomorrow to gather more information as to what this quest of yours might entail.
Oh, very well. See, he pulls out a piece of paper and starts writing before folding it up and handing it to you, Yanni. On the west side of the city, relatively close to the harbor, you will find a shop called the Crafty Tellers. Give that note to the owner, and they should give you the item.
Much obliged, Captain.
He gives you a nod. Is there anything else I can help you guys?
This might be a bit of a random question or request, but does your army supply or utilize whips in any form or shape?
What kind of whips are you talking about?
The bladed kind used in warfare.
He looks at T for a moment. No, we don't. I'm not too sure if the Sand Riders do, but our military uses the base. Whips are a fairly dangerous weapon to use, especially among the friendlies. And in the wrong hands, it could do more harm than good. So no, we don't have whips in our stores.
And he kind of nods. I assumed as much, but didn't hurt to ask. I'll craft my own.
Very well.
Well, anyone else requiring extra ammunition for their bows or anything that we could acquire from the garrison before we leave?
I think I'm good.
Well, if there is nothing else, then I'll let you be on your way. Thank you again, Myth.
Good day to you too, Captain.
He turns around, walks back inside. He just now kind of rests his head on his arm as he's just leaning against the cart. So, what the fuck are you guys still doing on my cart?
Well, at least I myself was pondering if you have any plans for tonight.
That sounds very suspicious.
Oh, no. That was definitely not my intention.
I mean, look,
Look-
I don't know about you, but I don't swing that, okay?
I do not care where you are swinging, little kobold. I was only willing to extend an offer to meet up at what was the name of the tavern? The two.
The Twins Delight.
Yeah, that was one. Meeting up at the Twins Delight later tonight, at least for us to, well, offer you a drink for being so kind as to drive us around. And even if we got a bit lost along the way, still, it was very, very much helpful. And I don't believe that our worm hunting would have been possible without your aid.
He squints at you, trying to, like, read you. Okay, what's the catch here? There,
Well,
there's a catch. There's somewhere there's a catch.
of course. The catch would be having an acquaintance among the ranks of the Sand Riders as one of the, well, most important, I would assume, divisions of monstrous cavalry that the kingdom has. So, making sure that we have a continual and beneficial, friendly relationship with you would be beneficial for us.
You're, you're a smart guy. I'll give you that. All right. So long as there's nothing fishy going on, I'll accept the offer. And as soon as something fishy is going down, I am out of that tavern. You understand?
Oh, I assure you, I am the face of reliability underneath this mask.
Sure, says the one who is partly wood.
Know what they say? Knock on wood.
Guess they do say that.
Regardless, we won't be keeping you from a probably well-earned rest.
I, that you are, so I would appreciate it if you get out of my car.
Aye, aye. See you later. Yanni like jumps out of the cart.
You know will follow.
Naren gets his pack and just takes it off, hops off as well.
You all hop off the cart and he kind of unceremonially just moves the cart and starts heading down the street. You can tell that he's heading towards the city walls, but you can't tell why. In a matter of moments, he is gone. Now you guys standing in the courtyard of the barrack with Jeff not that far away from you, like marveling guys. He is slowly becoming a fanboy. You can tell that.
Now, where are those three?
Well, what next?
Well, I'd definitely like to find my companions. I'm a bit worried about them, but I think we should probably head to the magical item shop before anything else. I don't know how well effective this piece of paper is if we have a timer on it or anything.
Wise words, wise words.
So you guys are going to be heading to the magic shop.
Indeed.
Well, looking around for my puppets.
All right. You guys start heading through the city, following the sort of general directions that the captain gave to you. You head west, closer to the sea. And on the way, Yanni, you are keeping an eye out for your dolls. I'm not going to ask you to make me a perception as you walk around, but the city is too busy for you to actually get a chance. See if you can spot your dolls, but there's that constant thought in your mind that they're probably with the other group. Maybe they are still within.
Yeah, because they help them carry their things to the Twins Delight.
Yeah. And after quite a bit, you guys find the store called the Crafty Talisman. And it's a fairly small store, almost as small as Mike's Traders.
Oh boy.
But you can tell that it's kept in better condition. The walls aren't as cracked, and if they are cracked, it's only very, very small, like hard to see. It has a sort of trying to think what you call them. What do you call it? What do you call those things? Like if it's a massive building and they have like a sort of um gazebo on the entrance, protecting the entrance from rain. What do you call those things?
Um,
Um, I'm not entirely sure.
I don't remember myself.
Yeah, but there is a extended cloth covering the entrance, protecting it from the sun, so it gives it that more fancy feel as the sign itself. Although it's not embedded in the walls, it is embedded on the cloth in a sort of gold fabric, giving it a nice shine in the sunlight. And of course, I'm assuming you all head inside.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You head inside, and it's very, very weird. As from the outside, the place looks small, but on the inside, it's much bigger than what you would expect. It's able to hold quite a few shelves, all with variety of items. Some with just bottles of a strange glowing liquids inside, others with armor that have unique decorations. And you can see quite a lot of items. And in the very far back of the store, there is a small table with one person working at it. From your distance, it was hard to tell, but after taking a few steps forward, you're able to tell that this is another Baxi. And unfortunately, it is also male. May make the connections, I don't know. And very quickly, after entering the store, the Tabaxi looks up at you guys. Just, welcome, welcome. Welcome to my store. How can I help you guys?
Well, um, we are the Misfits, and we have come here from the garrison with a paper slip sent directly from the captain of the garrison. I believe we are to acquire one magical item and put it on their tab. As he like produces the paper slip from his robes.
The Tabaxi acts pretty quickly and like almost snatches the paper from you and just in less than a second opens it up and reads it. Just alright. The captain is basically ordered me to give you a bag of holding. If I remember correctly, I do have quite a few back in storage. Is there a specific type of bag that you would like? I have quite a bit of variety.
Well, please do enlighten us as to the different types. I happen to know how to well, craft them, but I'm not aware of the plethora of types.
Well, it's not really what the mag can do. It's more a decoration. So for some, it would be a bag that is more suited for those who are more working with their hands. The sort of vision that you would expect those people to have. And then there are others, for instance, like you, that are a lot more out there. They're more presented, and I think you would like those. I have one with a sort of a fish scale covering, another which is a in like a sort of decorations of stars, and then another one that has a sort of tree branch, and not actual tree branches, but like decoration.
Yanni will like turn to the rest of the group. Any particular preferences?
Oh, no, not really in particular, no.
As long as
Cool, huh?
it does its job.
Just like reaches and grabs his sister's shoulder. Um, let's see these different bags that you have. Maybe we can get something that looks more like a purse for my sister here.
Ah, I know just the one. As he rushes back into the back. Give you guys a few moments to explore the store. Maybe there is an item that you guys potentially want to buy. You want
When
to
we
look
have the
around.
funds for it.
If you do.
We have some.
There, your bank says that you do have some.
If this payment from the worm is just being straight traded for the bag, then we are sitting at 299 gold in the party fund.
That's a lot.
Plus 7 gemstones of different colors, but we haven't looked at those yet.
Yeah.
It might be actually worth checking out the store and seeing if we can get something.
Alright. So you guys look around the store. Is there anything in particular that you guys are looking for?
See, good. Guess some potions wouldn't be bad.
I think that might be the next store over.
Oh, a magic shop will still sell potions, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
See, what type of potions though? I mean, I don't really have anything of anything I'm really looking for. So
Yeah, probably one or two healing potions, just basics.
yeah,
Would be fairly good for anyone.
yeah. So probably a couple common healing potions then.
You guys look around, you do find the potions, but you also find some other weird artifacts. You see one which is literally just a skull, 2 gems in its eyes. Kind of emits a sort of weird feeling. You see in the far corner a very large bear, like trophy, just killed and stuffed and just put in that position. And you get the feeling that this bear is watching. You don't know why, but you just do. And then after a few minutes, the tabaxi comes back out. 3 different bags of holding. As he puts them all on the table. Well, this is what I have. We have the velvet bag. It's very a simple design with for a simple mind, but it appeals to most. We have this lovely one with very dark. I'm going to a crimson. Bloody hell! I need a dark crimson red with small gold inlays on the sides here. This is on the more expensive side, but because you are not paying for these bags, it's up to you. And then the final bag isn't the less appealing. It is pitch black, as you can see. There is no decorations on it, as supposed to symbolize the sort of boy. So, what would you like? So, to summarize, you have a velvet bag with it's a sort of like very common. It looks. It has that leathery texture to it, just with a dark velvet. And the middle bag is, as I mentioned, a very dark red with kind of like wavy gold decorations going all around the bag to like form a wavy spiral. And then the final bag is just pure black. Like it honestly, if you had to leave it in the pitch, like in the dark, you would not be able to.
Una points to the black one immediately. I'll take that one.
See, hands it to you, and you now have a bag of holding. Ta-da! Well, is there anything else I can help you find people with? Slowly, like, takes the bags and put them under his shelf.
And I believe we were interested in a couple of healing potion, perhaps.
Ah, healing potion. Would you like the small variety or the much larger?
Yes, two of the smaller kind would probably do.
Ah, they are 50 gold each. From underneath the shelf, just pulls out 2 bottles. Not shelf.
Motherfucker, we don't have our board. um, hmm. Well, seeing that we are linked with the army and taking orders from the captain, doing our duties for the city, the kingdom by extension, would you mind considering a bit of a discount for, the people that are out there on putting their lives on the line for the peace and prosperity of the kingdom and your business as well?
Mm. Hmm. Thinks quite a bit. And I'm going to ask you to give me a persuasion.
Oh boy. Eh.
As I said before, he thinks for a bit and just, well, on a, in other circumstances, I wouldn't mind giving you, but you must understand that I was basically ordered to give away one of my more pricier items. And at this point, I cannot make any further loss with this particular. So, as much as I appreciate everything that you have done, for me and the city and giving your life. I cannot lower the price on these potions.
Understandable. I believe we will purchase those two. It would be quite helpful for our endeavors.
Gives you a relatively small nod as he slides the potions over to you.
Dear sister, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Pay the guy.
So, Yanni, I'm assuming that you are picking up potions. You can add 2 small potions. It's just potions of healing. Potions to your inventory.
Alright.
You know. Track 100. Become poor. Well, I appreciate doing business. If at any time you need any items to be enchanted, if you're looking for a specific item, please do come by my store, and I'd be more than happy.
I'll keep that in mind. Wait, what the fuck? I was checking the Yanni's inventory and I can see 5 potions of healing in his bag of holding. What?
I honestly don't know why you guys bought more potions. You have
Wait,
plenty right now.
you guys already have like 1,000,000 potions? What the hell?
Yeah.
Didn't notice. Whoops.
If I remember correctly, it was session 4 that Yanni made more potions for himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why he bought more potions.
I did not know that.
I blame it on Aaron.
Well, to be fair, I didn't think I was there for that session, so ha.
No, you
Shucks.
weren't. That's right.
I would have remembered someone crafting potions.
Well, now we got 7.
The more the merrier. Alright. So you guys say your goodbyes and exit the store. The street that you guys are on is relatively quiet for this part of town. I mean, you can hear the noise going on by the harbor, but there isn't much going on here. You get the sense that this is the more expensive side of town, so there's a lot less foot traffic. And with that, I would like to ask what you guys want to do next. From out of narrative, you, I would say, have 3 choices. You can do whatever you want, but the 3 that I would see standing is you head back to the Twins Delight Tavern. You go to Mike. I don't know what you would do there, but do something. I really don't know what you would do. Or you would actually no, it's only those only those 2 options. Really. Those are the only ones I can actually think of. Yeah.
Ooh, potion seller. I'm going into battle.
You'll need all of your potions. Well, that's a very fair point. Yanni will split the potions that he's got, and you like give 2 to each. So you 3 can add 2 potions of healing to your character sheets.
Woo!
Don't forget Lily. Lily is a part of your group.
Oh shit. I'll just give
But she
her.
has healing already. She can heal everybody already. She doesn't need the healing potions.
Yes, but you never know. I mean,
Come on, she's cure wounds. She's a bard. What kind of bard doesn't have cure wounds?
the bard that is too focused on other things.
Ooh, excuse me. Can you
Alright.
go to...
So Yanni, you dish out the potions between the, I would say, 4 of you, even though there are 5. You don't really give to Lily because she does say that she doesn't really need them, so she's sorted. You hand out the potions to the other 3 then. And after that, you all make your way back to the tavern. And I will say that we have a quick break, shall we?
Awesome.
Mhm.
Cool, cool.
Oh god, what the hell?
See y'all in a bit.
Excuse me. I think I'm gonna go make a cappuccino. We're back.
Yep. Welcome back.
Welcome, welcome.
I swear Helgon is gonna hate me.
Sorry.
Have the now that I don't need to use the infusion for the bag of holding, I can just use it to make a homunculus to add another puppet.
Oh dear God, not another one.
He's gonna hate me.
It's like basically like a find familiar type thing.
Yeah, kind of a bit more durable, and it also has actions, but you need to like use one of your bonus action to make it use an action.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the thing that I'm a bit struggling with, because it does state that you need to use your bonus action in order for it to use its action, but I think it can move without your input.
Yeah. That's why I love my my Drake being able to just add a d6 to any attack as long as it's within 30 feet is very useful.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, I don't really have a bonus action to use, so I make an attack anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I typically tend to use my bonus action to order the Steel Defender. That's the thing that I'm usually using it for. But it does say so it can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it. So it can like fly around and make sure that I can like deliver cure wounds with it.
Yeah.
Which is fairly decent.
Very useful, yeah. I don't get my cool Drake Warden stuff until level 8, I think, when I'm able to actually ride my Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can be a mounted archer, which is pretty cool.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning to ask. Well, actually, meaning to experiment with using close combat weapons, because archery is just kind of boring. Hey, shoot my arrow again. Ugh. hard to describe your cool actions with a bow.
Yeah, I feel you. So I tend to gravitate towards melee focused classes or spellcasters or whatever. As you can like have a lot more freedom of like describing what you can do with the environment and how to like, use the creature itself to your advantage and like things like that. A lot more fun. Yeah, despite people having potions.
Yeah, that was a really bad death. Unlucky death, actually.
Did your like character from was it the Kiga?
Yeah, it was
campaign?
Kigaboy. Yeah.
Oh,
So I think my character was defending another downed character. She wasn't actually at the session, but that's how I was basically role playing as the character protecting her.
Mhm.
But I think it was like I can't remember what the creature was called, but it basically some magical burst or something. And the character went down. Nobody was close enough to actually provide aid, and we didn't have a ranged. Well, we had a ranged healer at the time, but I don't think they had any spell slots or anything. I can't
Mhm.
remember
No,
what it was.
they was pulled away by one of the ballistas. They wasn't in range to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Australia wasn't actually in the party at the time. Hey, it was the freaking snake person. But yeah, so nobody could provide ranged aid, and a couple people had potions of healing, but they had to get close, and they were pretty far away.
Mhm.
And then I rolled one death save, fail, and then the second death save came along, and it was a natural one. So
Ah, yeah. I had like 2 or 3 of those. It's like, well, shit.
yeah.
And a robot was like, "Nope, you're not passing."
Yeah, the invisible hand decided today is the day.
Oof.
All right. Is everyone else back?
uh,
Believe so.
I'm here.
Curla, you're here?
Curler is yeah, I believe. Curler. Caller.
He's silent with state.
Earth to Al. You were just talking a second ago there.
Ah.
Maybe he got up to like grab a drink or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no. Can you like switch around artificer infusions?
Holy. Okay, I did not realize Deft Explorer was so good.
What?
Oh, here he is.
Yep, welcome back.
Haha. All right. Let us continue. So as you guys get back to the tavern, you step inside and you see that it's quite busy as you would expect it to be, and you do see some familiar faces. They are a very hard pick find in the crowded tavern that this is. Assuming you're not going to be talking to many tokens by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yanni, as soon as you take a few more steps inside the tavern, you see your 3 servants waiting ever so patiently by the door. They all seem pretty relieved to see you back. Well, you can't really tell from its facial expressions, but you can from the
Yeah,
sort
the
of
way they move.
the energy that they are emitting.
Hmm.
That like happy dog energy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get like between them and like pull all three of them in a big hug.
Oh,
I'm so sorry to have left you behind, but the sands of the desert would have been terrible for you. I'm sure you've all been terribly lonely.
They do like clankily nod their heads as they hug back. You do notice that this table is completely empty. A lot of people don't want to be near these three.
Understandably so.
Ooh, bonus.
Well, don't worry, you three. With the pieces that I managed to collect out there, I think I might have enough to get you a new friend.
Well, you're planning on making a new one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you are bullying an army, aren't you?
Slowly but surely, yeah.
Alright. As for the rest of you, you do, like I said before, notice a few familiar faces. They notice you, and Francis turns around. Oh, you guys are back. How was your hunting?
successful to say the least.
Certainly hope so.
And quite delicious for some of us.
It always
Like-
astonishes me how much food can fit in that small belly of his.
He like frowns as he looks at Cola. Cola at the stage is still relatively round. You know what? I'm not gonna question it. I'm just gonna accept it. 'Cause can I? You guys looking for Roki, or you just here to chill?
Well, it's been an adventure, so taking a little bit easy. At least, well, catching up with events more is in order.
Yeah, I guess that is what we should do now. If you want, I can get Roki and she can come to your guys' table.
Yes, of course. And I think I'm in the mood for some wine.
Ah. I'll also give you Orientala. She seemed pretty excited to see you guys back.
Good to know. Good to know.
He gives you a nod as he first stops by La. Gives her your order. For those of you, I'll say if you also wanted a drink, you can tell me now, and Francis will get the drink.
I think some normal ale for me, thank you.
And the other two, you guys are good?
Yuna needs nothing. She's good.
Ah. So you all head to your table after, I would say, like 2 minutes. It didn't have to wait that long. You all see the familiar grumpy face making her way. She doesn't even sit down as she just puts her hands on the table in a sort of like business manner. Just, alright. Okay, well, fill me in. What did you guys do? What's your status right now? How's everything going?
Well, I believe that things are looking up for us. We managed to accomplish our task of hunting one of the sandworms. That was quite a big deal back at the garrison. And we managed to collect some bounty. We managed to, secure something that I believe we dearly needed in form of a magical item for us. And I think the captain is due to hand us another more important task to further boost our reputation.
Uh, did he tell you what this task was?
Not yet, no. We will find out tomorrow when we will reconvene at the garrison.
Okay, and then what are your plans for that Mike guy?
Hmm,
You did
right.
still want to fuck him over, right?
Oh, very much so. But we have some investigation to do first.
Yes, I believe tonight might be a good avenue of investigation, uh, taking out the lay of the land, if you will. We wouldn't want to fight on an unfamiliar battlefield.
Well, that makes sense. Is that your plan for now? Just scout out some dude's store, see what he's got going on there? What?
Well,
What
if
is it?
you've got nothing better to do.
I really don't see how this is gonna benefit your reputation.
Well, if he's up to some shady shit, catching him red-handed sounds like a good idea.
It's a bit of a distraction, if you will. Some late night entertainment.
Late night entertainment, you would like to describe.
Hmm.
Just getting up to some mild tomfoolery. Nothing too special.
Hey, if you say so.
What about you? How do you find the accommodations around here?
I have to admit, this is indeed a nicer place than we are used to. Gonna be honest, I think you guys did a good job organizing this place for us.
Well, I'm just happy you guys have settled in well.
Oh, to be fair, we are being worked by the twins, which, thanks by the way, they're not taking it easy.
Would
But
you,
I,
ra- would you rather be in a dusty old pyramid?
well, yes, because then we would have done work that we are suited for, not waitering tables, listening to customers' complaints. Have you ever done that?
I think I hear somebody very much eager to return to the hard stone beds and sand-filled halls of the pyramid.
She kind of just almost like growls at you. But
You've heard
she
all about how all that sand gets everywhere.
Come on, don't be so stiff and so stingy. A little bit of change is good for the morale of the people. Of course, this might seem like a waste of time, but a change in the background and a change in your accommodations will help lift the spirits and only aid in the long run. Please,
Yeah.
do not be so short sighted.
Short-sighted? Did you just call me short-sighted?
That I did. And to your information, between everyone here, I was the only one that actually worked when we last stayed here. So I am quite accustomed with what you need to do in order to earn your stay.
Huh. So then the rest of you are a bunch of lazy shits.
Well, my job is not cleaning tables. I I do survival.
Spy. You spy on others. That was your job? Really?
Well, no, it's their plan. I just do what they tell me to.
Eh, very.
Also making sure we don't get lost in the desert, which we nearly did because of certain kobold.
You mean to tell me that the Sand Rider got lost in the desert?
That makes quite a funny story, I know.
Are you sure it was him who got lost?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wanted to go the opposite direction of where I directed him to, so even funnier when you find out I'm from the mountains, the cold, icy mountains.
You can find out more by asking the man himself, or the kobold himself. He's going to be dropping here later tonight, if he takes our invitation.
What's the Sand Rider's name?
I believe it was T. Kobold, kind of this tall, like indicates and like gives a brief description for T.
You'll know him when you see him.
Very well. Very well. So are you guys now just waiting for the dead of dark? Dark of night?
More or less. Cleaning, recuperating. I will still need to do some shopping for myself and some tinkering.
What shopping are you planning?
Well, I will probably need some funds from my sister, but not terribly expensive. I managed to gather some more materials while we had our foray in the desert, and I think I will add another member to my family, at least for the time being, as well as some spell components for something I've been working with. Maybe I can show you later tonight, just before we leave to what was it? Fuck up, Mike?
Well, that is how you guys described it to me.
Right, right.
Well, I would be interested in seeing what you planning to do. Yes, I will take you on your invitation. But I guess seeing on how you don't really have much else to do until then, enjoy your rest, I will call it. Kick your asses out here and continue to try and build a reputation.
Right, right. Well, if scrubbing the tabletops was too much of a job, you could have always asked my assistance. They looked terribly lonely when I got here, so I'd assume nobody asked them to do anything after they moved around the furniture for you, or the baggage that you had.
You do realize that if one of them had to serve a customer, the customer would run out of the store. That's happened.
We have people to wait on.
Everyone's just so easily scared around here.
Well, what do you expect? They're literal walking dolls. I can see strings, but I don't know where the strings go.
Hmm. You see something that frightens you. I see something very interesting and fascinating. It is a matter of perspective, really.
Honestly, you get used to them.
Yeah, see?
You might have, but some of us haven't. A lot of the Patreons are brand new to.
Alright, alright. I'll take them for a walk when I go shopping.
Good. Good. Could use exercise. They've just been standing there for 2 days.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell.
Tell because there's dust forming on their shoulders. Alright, well, I'll leave you guys to do what you want to do. And when you're done, come and find me. Maybe I can help you with your planning of fucking over.
I believe that is a conversation to be held over a hearty breakfast early tomorrow morning once we have some more detail and some more dirt on this, Mike. You can help us formulate a plan.
Very well.
Speaking of Mike, I have an errand of my own to do, so I'm also going to get going.
Oh, just before you leave, I feel the need to ask for permission as well, because my crafting also requires some funding. Uh, would it be okay if I take away 100 of our gold pieces?
See, no problem. Goes towards the strength of the party.
And just like nods. I will do my best to put them back in their place, and my new puppet. I'm sure that it will be very much useful for the group.
Always good to hear. Noran gives a small nod and makes his way out of the tavern.
Alright. Assuming Yanni, you follow shortly behind, or you still gonna spend some time in the tavern?
He's just going to peek around the corner to Cola. Great Cola, do you mind if my new invention will join you up in the skies? I think it will be more of a flyer type, so I just want to make sure that that won't be bothering you in any way.
No, if it flies too close to the sun, will merely back to the ground.
I'll keep that in mind. And if it gets too close to the sun, I can assure you that that sun is probably close to its final moments. If anything, it will help reignite its fire, if you will. Huh? The sister? Enjoying yourself?
So, if you want, you can talk now. You know what? You can go. You can go first.
Just
quite comfortable. So, what are your plans now?
Well, I do plan to finally put the homunculus schematics that I had lying around to actual good use. And now that those runners came after us, I believe it's high time I put their parts to good use.
Clever thinking. I can't wait to see what you create.
Of course.
You
You
need
like-
my assistance in any of that?
I would appreciate it. I need some funding, but an extra pair of hands will always be appreciated.
Then by all means, let's birth a new creation to join our little family.
Excellent, excellent. Let's go. Like offers his arm.
And she'll hook hers around his. Ready to go.
Before you two do go, La just like quickly calls you. It's like, ah, wait, I've got your drinks.
Oh, right, drinks. And like Victoria will like just take a step, and then one of its wings is going to extend to like take the wine glass or whatever she presented to us.
That please do remember to return that glass.
Of course, of course.
Okay. But will I be seeing you guys later?
Definitely. It's going to be just a little bit of shopping, and then we will return here. The heat of the sun is rather unsavory for our kind.
Of
Ta-ta!
With that, you both leave the tavern,
Yep, the whole troop.
including the three dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Just quickly confirming, we're meeting back at the tavern, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right.
It's like still like midday at this point, right? Like
Yeah, it's approaching midday. Yes.
Mhm. So we'd have like a bit of shopping for like an hour or two or whatever, and then we'd return here, just rest up for the evening, and then move in to do the whole mic fuckery.
Yes. All right. Just checking. Cola is. Are you also going to be doing something, or are you just going to be chilling at the tavern?
Chilling at the table.
All right. All right. Cola's going to enjoy him.
Yeah, need to digest all that food.
That he does. All right. Starting off with Ninarin. What
Yeah.
are you up?
Neuron's gonna make his way to the market. Gonna try and pick out some a good amount of street food, probably around ballpark estimate about 2 silvers worth, a decent amount of food.
All right. When you say a decent amount, what is like £10?
So
Something?
2 silver is like it's like a good, like a good not bag full, but it's a good amount of food. That's it should be plenty of food to last a day for a group of people.
All right. All right.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah, just basically buying some kebabs, some pita, stuff like that. Just some local food from street stalls and stuff.
all right. So you being in the city more and more often, you are able to find your way around the city quite quite easier than the previous times that you've tried to navigate it, and you come across the market pretty quickly, only like 20 minutes of your time, and you spend majority of your shopping just exploring what the stores had for offer. A lot of it was dishes where the main ingredient was the fish that were caught,
Yeah.
and a lot of people would be advertising it as the fresh catch of the day. And a few of those did catch your eye, but you find that they actually repeat themselves quite often,
Hmm.
like the sort of dishes, and it got to the point where you weren't really looking for the amount of food that they're offering, but just like the variety. And by the end of the day, your 2 silver got you quite a bit of unique dishes, I'll say.
Hmm.
You had one of them was just a straight fish on a stick that was turned on a split, I think.
Yeah, on a spit.
Yeah, on a split. And it was roasted to perfection. So you got quite a bit of those. Another was a sort of mixed with. I'm going to this fish a tuna salad that was pretty interesting because there were 1 2 vegetables that you couldn't really recognize, and that just gave the salad a bit more of a flair. So you were like, "Ooh, I'm going to have that now."
Yeah, just so you know, I'm not eating this food. I'm just purchasing it.
Uh, yeah, I know. Just saying.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just in case. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you've by the end of your shopping trip, you have quite a decent array of food for the party, and I will say that majority of them have a sort of shell life of 4 days.
Bold of you to assume I'm getting this for the party.
Yeah. All right.
So once I have a decent amount of food, I'll make my way to the bridge where the orphans are.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I'll drop down and I'll put on the cloak to be as quiet as possible. I'll begin sneaking my way through. And then Naran will peek into the room, see if there's anybody inside.
I will ask you to make me a check because you.
Yeah. Stealth at advantage. Yee. Wow, those are really good rolls.
Those are excellent rolls. Bloody hell. Okay. Well, you being the ranger that you are, you're familiar with the arts of being light on your feet, and so you make relatively no sound at all. None that a normal person would be able to pick up. And so you are able to sneak into sewer where those people were, the children. None of them suspect you. So when you peek inside, you see that it is the orc grandpa is there, but not all of the children. Before you remember there being 4 children, now there's only 2. And he's just sitting with them, telling them kid stories by a single lantern as a source of light.
So after peeking in, I'll take the food and just put it in the doorway. Then I'll find maybe a little pebble lying around or something that I can just toss in. Just toss in the stone, and so it just lands near them, catch their attention, and once catch their attention, Neuron's gonna run out.
All right. You set the food by the door. You find a relatively small pebble. It's not large enough to be difficult to throw, but it's not small enough so that it won't be noticed.
Yeah, among
And
the Neuron will also leave one of his arrows just to let them know that it's from them. From the Misfits.
haha. You leave your arrow, you toss the pebble, and it makes a small clacking noise as it hits the floor near them. As they turn around, you dart back, you quietly make your way out to us. As one of the children pretty much screams with delight, seeing all the food there by the end. The grandpa takes more notice in the arrow. You leave with the feeling that you have done the right.
Yeah, after that, Neuron will take a small walk around town and make his way back to the tavern.
Yanni and Yuna, to you guys. What
Well,
what is your main goal?
I would need to find some charcoal, incense, and herbs.
Alright?
And I think we had like the. I can't recall the name of the guy that we brought the alchemist ingredients that Yanni used for the healing potions from. I
Naf.
can't remember. Naf. Thank you.
Naf's Alchemist was the name of the shop.
So I think
Literally
we might-
next door.
Yeah, so I think we might just go next door and find those. I'd assume he has like charcoal and incense as well as herbs.
Alright. You both step outside and literally just walk next door through the herb store. As you see the centaur just waiting by his counter. He is chatting with another customer. You see that other person is just I'm going to say a green dragon. They're not the usual size. They're pretty small for dragonborn. Like if they're much bigger than a kobold, but when it comes to usual sizes or the average size, this one is below average. And you get the feeling that the centaur is a little bit too busy, but he does acknowledge you guys there. He does give you a wave and kind of signaling you to silently be patient.
Mm-hmm.
While he does this, it does give you a chance to look in the store if he has the ingredients you are looking for.
Mm-hmm. Then you will look around for those.
If you would be so kind as to roll me
A perception check.
yes.
Yep. Pretty good.
Good there. You said you needed charcoal, incense, and
Herbs doesn't
Herb.
specify what type, but I'd assume like
that. Yeah. Alright, with a 19. You quickly make your way around the store. And relatively quickly, you're able to find the ingredients that you were looking for. You see the incense is relatively close to the door. The charcoal is in sort of bags at one corner of the store. They're more just piled onto each other. And then the herbs, the specific type that you were looking for, we're not going to name any, But the type that you're looking for does take you a bit longer to find, but in a matter of moments, before long, you are able to find them. You just sort of gather them all up like you would at a shopping. By the time you make your way back to the counter with the ingredients that you need, you see the centaur has already finished with the dragonborn and is now looking at you. Alright, can I help you with today?
Well, I would like to purchase these. I think I will be needing them to summon a familiar. So I think I'll be buying 2 batches necessary for the initial summoning, and then just one to, keep handy in case something unfortunate happens to my new friend and I need to re-summon it.
Very well. Uh, how m- how much of each ingredient are you looking for?
It's like in batches of 10 gold pieces per casting. So like 10 gold pieces worth of all of those 3 combined. So it's not like separate or anything.
Ah, how do you need 100 gold pieces? Are you buying 10 batches or all of these?
No, just like 2 batches of 10 gold pieces each.
All right.
Which I will be paying from my own personal funds.
Sure. He examines the items. He picks a few of them up to just kind of gauge the weight of them. And he's like, all right. All of this combined would cost you about 20 gold pieces.
Of course. Here you are.
You can add charcoal, incense, and herbs to your inventory.
Okay, thank you. And just to make a little bit of chatter, Yanni would ask if the situation regarding like ingredients has been improved while they were in the desert. If you got any shipments arriving or.
Oh, funny you should say that. Actually, yesterday I got a brand new shipment. Store is fully stocked.
Oh, wonders.
Hmm. There isn't anything else you'd like to buy, is there?
I'm afraid not at the moment. This would suffice for now.
Very well. Hope to see you again soon.
Oh, you will. I hope so too, actually. But regardless, thank you for this. Put it to good use. Walk out of the store.
Now loaded with 2 batches of charcoal, incense, herbs. What would you like to do next?
We never like appraised the gems that we have, right?
You did not.
Would we know of any like jeweler place if we could ask just before we leave the store where to go exactly if we want some jewels appraised?
Sure, the centaur does know a few places close to the harbor, and any jewels that would come in would be shipped in. There aren't many mines for the city, so majority of its material wealth comes from other nations all around.
Mhm.
So there are quite a few jewelry stores, we shall call them, that have been set up close to the harbor.
Perfect. And off to the harbor we go.
You and Yuna both travel. A similar effect happens to you as it did to Ninaran, where you're starting to get more and more used to the city, and before long, both of you find your way to the harbor, and you actually get to a similar part or familiar part of it as you recognize a small ship approaching the harbor. You know it's the one that you were on.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And not far from there, you do see a sign with a large sort of diamond on it. There's no like letters or name for the store, but there is just a large diamond on sort of hanging sign outside of a door.
Well, let's hope that this is not a seedy place like Mike's, that we won't get swindled. I'll be counting on your sharp wit, sister. I get swindled easily.
I'll do my best.
And we walk into the jeweler's shop.
Unlike most other stores that you have visited, this one is relatively active. There are quite a few patrons there, a lot of them with clothes similar to yours, as you get the feeling that they are people of a higher standing in the city that are visiting the store. You see one or two ladies busy testing on some sort of necklaces, large jewels embedded into the metal, as they giggle between themselves, constantly compare other amulets, necklaces. And you see the owner of the store, a human male, busy keeping an eye on everyone, as you get the sense that he's not a very trusting person. One would expect him not to be, as he is the owner of quite a few valuable jewels. And when he notices you guys, you can tell that his attention is more fixated on you, as you aren't the friendliest people to the public eye.
Right, right.
Mm. He just watches you in silence. Every now and then his eyes would dart to someone else, but then just back at you.
And you just walk up to him. Yeah. Good day. I'm terribly sorry if we are disturbing or being an inconvenience to the rest of the customers. However, I wouldn't be surprised if you have quite a bit of strangers coming in and out with the nature of your shop. We are here merely to, how shall I say it, appraise some of the gems and jewels that we managed to find during our adventures, and perhaps procure one if what we have is not satisfactory for our crafting needs.
Very well. Let me see what you have and do my best.
Yuna will pull the 7 different colored gems out of the bag of holding and line them up. Counter for him to look at.
already you can see he takes some slight interest into them, as he wasn't expecting one or two of them to pop out of your bag. But immediately you can see he starts sort of moving them into a sort of range. And in a matter of moments, he looks up at you again. He's like, and where exactly did you find these?
It was part of a sunken treasure. Particular bounty said that if it was found, we were free to keep them.
See. Well, I can tell you now that the total worth of all 7 of these gems are roughly 270 gold pieces. I mean, you have your standard clear quartz crystals over here. That isn't really that expensive on the market. Still does look pretty. And the next on that, for the life of me, I can't remember this name, but I do know this gem. As he picks up a sort of dark blue gem, takes a second to admire it. You get the feeling that even though he doesn't remember the name of the gem, he knows exactly what he's talking about. This is a man who has worked with rocks, more specifically gems, most of his, say, working life. And as much as he looks at you distrustingly and sort of in a rude way, you get the feeling that what he's saying is the truth. He continues, yeah, this blue gem is also about 10 gold. The more interesting ones is you have a jade gem over there, a amber ball, bloodstone, and an amethyst. What's the sort of gem that you were hoping for?
I wasn't hoping for any particular kind. It's rather its monetary value that we are more interested in, and would very much like to know if any of the pieces that we presented here is worth about or more than 100 gold pieces.
He takes a deep breath as in thought as he looks over the gem again. I'm sorry, but the most expensive one you have here is gold pieces.
How much?
50.
50.
Yes.
Hmm. Well, I believe the rest of the group would appreciate if we liquefy our assets, if you will. Um, hmm. Sister dearest, do you believe that we should perhaps let this good man have jewels that we managed to acquire and exchange them for one that more uh, suits our needs better and some change?
That is agreeable.
Well, dear shopkeep, if you have in store anything that is worth 100 gold pieces, we'd appreciate if we could exchange that for our gems as well as some gold for the rest.
that I let me have a quick look in the back. May have a diamond that could be worth what you're looking for.
Of course. Take your time. Take your time.
If you don't mind, please do keep an eye on this. See,
No, we will. We will. And as he takes his own time, I'm gonna like take some time to ritually cast a detect magic to see if we're like selling one of a magical gem of any kind without
you
actually knowing.
let me actually check something. All right, it takes 10 minutes, right, to cast detect magic. Okay. Yeah, it it honestly takes the shop owner or shopkeep 10 minutes of his time trying, or more than that, actually 15, trying to find the gem that he thinks he has. And during that time, you are able to cast your spell without any interruption. And from what you can tell, there is none of the stones on the table are magical, but you do get a sort of magical presence coming from where the shop owner is.
When the shop owner is.
Yeah, so in the back, you do get a magical presence.
Mm. All right. Okay. Okay. Interesting. I'll wait for him to return. I don't want to be rude to follow him in the back just without his approval. It'd be kind of weird.
Of course. So after 5 more minutes, he comes out and he's holding a relatively small diamond. All right, well, this diamond is worth 100 gold pieces.
Wondrous, wondrous. While you were away and looking for stuff, I was discussing with my sister here, and I think we might also be interested in at least seeing the other gems that you might have in the back. To perhaps, instead of asking for gold, it would be this particular 100 gold piece diamond, and then something else. Uh, if you wouldn't mind letting us check.
What are you looking for specific?
That's the reason why we would like to see the goods in the back. We are not particularly dead set on a piece. If something catches our eyes, we would appreciate if you could give us a price for it.
Very well. I'll bring out what I have. He sort of looks at you strangely, like, why the sudden interest in all of his gems. As he goes round back and pretty quickly comes back out with quite a few. You do. He lays out about 5 other gems. One you see is a very large, sort of see-through blue gem. Another is attached to a sort of a silver chain, and it's sort of a ruby red, but it's not exactly a ruby color. Then the next 2 gems on the table are just larger diamonds.
Mhm.
And then the final one has a very dark green tint to it, although it's mainly see-through.
Any of the ones that he presents pings on the detect magic?
Yes. The one at the sort of ruby one that is attached to the chain is the one that you're getting the magical present from.
uh, it has a nice color and definitely fit with my outfit. How much would it be for this piece? You can see that it's attached to a silvery chain as well.
Do have a good eye. Well, in the other markets, other gems of this kind would usually sell around 100 gold pieces, but this one has a bit of a story behind it, and given its story, the value of this gem has increased, and it's now worth 200 pieces.
You said that everything that we presented to you was worth 270, if memory serves.
That is correct.
Would you be inclined as to lower the 200 price on this piece to 170 just to have a equal exchange between our goods and yours? With, of course, the prospect of returning to this shop of yours as opposed to the others.
I'm going to say make me a perception. Persuasion, sorry.
Persuasion it is.
Mm.
Come on. Oh,
Oh. Alright. He thinks about it for quite a bit, just weighing his sort of options, the risk and reward of this transaction. And eventually he admits and is like, very very well. I will lower this thing's price too.
wonderful. I believe we have a deal on our hands, and I believe that you, with your skill and charms, are going to be able to sell our pieces for a little bit over the price that we are paying now. So, consider it an advantageous deal for you. And I am very much looking forward to liquidate the assets of our adventures in the future.
I hope so too.
And just like push with one hand the rest of the gems with that we had like towards him, and like extend his other hand, like waiting for the diamond and the ruby.
He hands you both as he takes yours in the sort of exchange your little trade that you guys have done. And you can now add a small diamond, it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, don't worry about it. It will go into the creation of the homunculus anyways.
and a sending stone.
Oh shit. Wait, just one? Fuck.
Yeah.
One sending stone.
Haha.
God damn
Congratulations.
it.
You have wasted your money. Yeah. So glad I was able to do that. Alright.
Could result in a quest line where we try to find the other sending stone.
Mm.
It could. Good. Alrighty. So now with the diamond in hand and the magical gem that you are not really sure what can do, what do you do next other than leave the store?
Probably return to the tavern.
Alright. Roughly 2 hours have passed, and the day is getting into like peak busyness, I would classify it. Is people are now halfway through their working day. As by the time you guys get back, you can see that majority of the patrons in the tavern are new ones. The ones who were here have already drinking their full, eaten what they can, just left. And like before, Cola is still chilling at the table that is deserted, thanks to your doll, having a small conversation with Lily that we regrettably will miss. Haha. And that the tavern is still relatively busy, even though there are a lot of newer faces. And of course, La at the front table is still serving as many customers as possible. She does notice you guys and waves at you for running off to serve some more. That, what would you guys like to do?
Niran will go to the table and take a seat, probably take another drink. So, what is the plan for tonight? Are we just gonna scout out, see what happens?
I believe later on we can see what's going on, and maybe my sister can infiltrate the shop and try to find this piece of paper that Mike so carelessly threw away.
Hmm. Well, we need at least one or two lookouts. One person to look from the front, one person at the back of the store. Make sure nobody comes in and interrupts you.
Yanni like nods. I can take one of the lookouts if you secure the other, with Cola being on standby in case anything goes awry or things might get a little violent.
Well, we're gonna need some sort of signal in case something wrong is coming their way, whoever's going inside.
That is fair. I think I might actually have the signals, but I need some time to prepare them.
Well, still some time before the sun goes down. Are you happy going in alone?
As long as you guys have my back, I can solo But you better be ready to do some property damage if things go south.
What's the worst that can happen?
Don't say things like that.
That's a red flag right there.
Don't worry, I'll make sure to. I just lost my train of thought. Shit.
No worries, it happens to the best.
Oh, but another piece of news. We managed to exchange the jewels that we previously acquired from that chest into well, these. And, like, presents the ruby stone and the diamond. Luckily, I didn't need to reach inside the group funds, as this is exactly what I need for my crafting for the day. While this red ruby was an additional benefit for the rest of the stones. I think it is a bit magical, but I would need some time to identify it and see what it actually does.
And we really should have stayed to get the story, since he said the price was up by a whole 100 just because it has a story. Probably should go back for that eventually.
Well, regardless of its enchantment, unless it's something absolutely useful, I believe we might get a net advantage in this deal, regardless of how interesting the story is. Now, like, take some time to actually identify the thing and find out it's a sending stone.
Yeah, I can imagine the sort of level of appointment hitting you as your previous spell told you that this was a magical item. You weren't sure what it was. When you identified it, it's like, oh, cool. Oh wait. Oh wait, we need the other one. Shit.
We'll, like, share with the rest of the group what it actually is and what it actually does, and then propose, as we might require the other part of the pair. I think we should send a message out and see if somebody has the other pair, or if they are willing to barter for it.
Well, it's not doing anything else right now.
That, and it can be a good way to communicate. If not for tonight, then for future endeavors, at least.
Indeed. Well then, after you. Send a message.
At Niren's words, Yanni will push the stone in front of Kola. Means great, Kola. The floor is yours. You have 25 words to summarize your greatness to whoever is on the receiving end. Do try not to frighten him or her too terribly.
And with that, Kola places his feathers on the stone and says, "Old a being, the great Kola speaks. Reveal your identity, and I pray mercy on your soul."
How many words was that?
I
He still has 6. It was 19.
Yes.
I counted.
Okay, cool.
But it doesn't need to be 25, so we're good.
Wait, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like exactly 25. It can be like anything lower than 20, 25
Yeah.
for the spell to fire off.
I'm actually like reading the stats of the stone, and I don't really see anything here saying that it has to be 25.
It's the sending. It's the sending spell.
Yeah.
The 25. It's
Okay. Okay. You all wait in anticipation for a few seconds. Those seconds slowly start turning into. And after 5 minutes or so, you do hear a response. A sort of. Actually, let me ask you guys this. How accurate is the spell in mimicking the voice of the person? Is it like a sort of phone static, or is it like speaking to the person as if they were next?
I think the words are delivered like clearly. I
Yeah,
don't
let's see.
think there's like any static.
When you touch one stone, can you use cast stone? Try the bird stone, no one here. Here's the other stone, you know, the fire stone.
All right. In that case, you hear a fairly deep voice
Yeah, that's a spell.
respond. You, as soon as it responded, you can tell that this was male. It was a relatively friendly kind of response. It's just like, whoa, great cola. I am not sure who you are or why you are speaking to me. I am Drogos. Stops right there.
Trogos. God damn it.
There's some guy named Drogus has the stone. Does Drogus ring any bells for Niraran? Maybe a dragon of some sort that he knows of? Studies.
Yeah, and he kind of turns and like asks everyone, like both the twins and the rest of the archaeologists, if the name Drogos rings any bells.
Yeah, Nanaran, I'm going to ask you to make me a history check.
Can I use nature instead? Because I'm a ranger and I know nature stuff and this relates to nature.
Alright, I'll say you can use nature for this one. I mean,
dragons are part of the environment, right?
yeah, but how do you know that the person on the other end is a dragon?
Oh, if it is, if the person on the other end isn't a dragon, I wouldn't know who he is. There you go.
The name sounds dragon-ish.
I
Yeah.
don't know. That's the thing. I don't want to give away too much, but you may actually know him. You specifically.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. I'm specifically going over dragon names that I might know. That's why I'm asking for nature instead of history, because that's what the nature of rangers. They're nature type people.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. You have to trust me on this.
Yeah.
Rather make a history check than a nature,
Okay.
because a nature wouldn't make sense in this case.
Okay, I'll make history then.
I give him guidance.
Oh, guidance? Oh, extra
Yeah.
D4 then.
Okay.
Oh, baby, an 18.
You think for a moment as the name, you don't really give it much thought, but then as you start like sort of repeating it in your mind, it starts sounding more and more and more familiar. As you get the feeling that Drogos is actually a very important person, specifically for your kingdom.
Ooh.
Is it the fucking king?
I can tell you now, no.
Okay.
Is that all I know? Do I know this person? Do I?
That's the thing. I am debating with myself if I should.
Come on, give us the info. We
mean,
paid
this is-
for the
I
thing.
mean,
Come
the
on.
leader of the country I'm from. Or
You know what? I'm gonna leave this up to the dice. I'm going to roll a dice and see.
share information about the world. God damn it! I want to know more.
I specifically told myself that if it was a low roll, I would tell you, and I got a natural 1.
Good.
Dice, no.
Oh,
We
okay.
now know everything. Cool. Okay. That's it.
Thank you,
Everyone?
Dice
Ninoran,
Taking your pencils out?
you recognize the name as belonging to a banished prince.
Ah,
Yes. You know that in your kingdom, your majesty had a son who wasn't very adept in controlling his powers, and it led to more destruction, and eventually the city couldn't take it and pretty much demanded the king to get rid of the child, as in like actually execute. But the king, being the father of this boy, couldn't actually bring himself to murder his child or kill him, and so he banished the child into the wilderness. And you now know that this is could be there are a lot of other people with the name of Drogos, but that's the name that rings a bell to you.
you see, Neuron leaned back. Trokos. No, that couldn't be. No, that's impossible. Well, it might belong to Drogos, the banished prince from my kingdom. He was banished, maybe a bad guy. I don't know too much information about him, but yeah, that could be an interesting stone you have there.
A banished prince? Uh, did he murder the rest of the royal family? Or something?
Oh no, it's a bit complicated. I'll explain what you told me. Um, I'll explain about how he was banished and stuff.
So someone lacking control. But what would be the odds? I'm not familiar with your kingdom and what the wilderness is supposed to imply, but any sort of wilderness for a child, I would assume it would be more or less a death sentence. If when did this banishment happen specifically?
Oh, by wilderness you mean icy cold, wolves. And when I say icy cold, I mean snowy, freezing cold, cold. I should know.
Hmm.
But
Right.
How long ago was this DM? Would I know?
Yes, you would know that this happened roughly 30 years ago.
Hmm.
So yes, quite a while.
So the child has grown into a man and survived the wilderness. If assuming that this is the same Dormos that you know of.
I mean, it's a long shot, but it's a possibility.
Well, we'll have to wait for tomorrow to actually see if this conjecture is true. But this might be actually a better investment than we thought originally. If this prince, royalty, has been banished and they are still living as a hermit, maybe they could come over here and join our cause.
Well, it will definitely spread a lot of word about it. There will be a lot of whispers.
Well, with the permission of Great Kola, the Stone Whisperer, I think we might be better entrusting the ruby onto you, Niren.
think so?
But I leave the judgment in the wise feathers of Sokula.
Go on. Mira can have it. But don't use the love stuff appropriate. Come on.
Well, you heard the man.
Yeah, true, true. Let's see, Drogus, right? Drogos, right?
Replace the S with a Z.
Okay, Drogos goes. Okay, cool. Cool. There we go.
Alrighty. Am I right? You can only use the Sending Stone once a day.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Alright.
It has like one casting of it and recharges at dawn.
Alright. Well, in that case, Ninorin, can you add it to your inventory? And
Already added.
Yanni, assuming you've already taken it up.
Yep. I'll like probably need some time between now and the evening when we're gonna have Operation Mike to actually cast throughout 1 hour the ritual for summoning my familiar, as well as the rest of that time to craft the homunculus.
Alright, well, right now it's about 1 p.m. in the day. So I would say it would take you about 6 to 7 hours to do this, unless your skills are far beyond my comprehension, too.
Yeah, we can say that the homunculus thing is like once you have it created, you just only need to refresh it at every dawn to keep the homunculus around.
Yes, because most of the materials that you have are pre-made. You're basically just reattaching,
Yeah, kind of.
like Lego. All right. So with that, you spend an hour busy casting the spell in a sort of deep trance. Your 3 doll servants kind of stand like in the way of your table in a sort of protective manner, so no one would disturb you while you are casting. And then after that hour, you begin your construction of your new homunculus. And it takes you a little bit longer, roughly about an hour 30, an hour 30 minutes, as once or twice when you tried to fit a piece onto another, it wouldn't quite fit, so you would have to kind of shave away a bit of the material there, or remove some from a different part and add it so that it would have a better snug fit. But eventually, you were able to construct your new member to the party. I do hope you have a sort of reference for us so that we know what this thing looks like. Or you're gonna find that later.
I'll find out later. I didn't expect to actually get my hands on something so quick to actually craft it. But for all intents and purposes, I forget the name of the dragon that is lording over Alfrom, but I want to create this homunculus as a kind of like clockwork pseudo dragon representation of the dragon god.
Okay. Oh God. Yeah. Fureth. Hold on. Let me actually get.
Well,
So you create this homunculus in the sort of image of Braverus, the sort of entity that you are more familiar with than any of the others.
mhm.
And I'll say, for the rest of the day, you all spend your time in the tavern, speak with the other archaeologists. They still enjoying themselves. Most of them are waitering as sort of waiters, and the twins are very delighted to have more hands helping them out. They seem very much more relaxed, as they're not as stressed as they were in during the previous time that you were here. And as the sun sets, you all start preparing yourselves or to begin your chronicles of King over Mike. And I'll say that's where we end tonight's session.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thanks for the game.